by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Wrong button. Hello! Hello, hello, hello! How is everyone doing tonight? It's Friday night! I feel okay. Monday was a holiday, it was a short week. I would say all right is a good feeling. Yes, I know. I said last week would be the last wiring stream. I am the sorry, okay? I come before you, a man begging for forgiveness, because we're going to be doing the thing again. We're going to be doing the wiring again. I know. But, let me turn my music down. I come bearing gifts. Well, a gift. Somebody tonight is going to win a Bondtech LGX. I haven't given away anything in a while. And to make it up for you, for dealing with another wiring stream, which hopefully this is the last wiring stream for a while, I'm going to give away an LGX. Anywhere that Bondtech ships, the main Bondtech website, you go there. If you can order from there, you can win an LGX. It is open now. I've opened it up for entries. Go to the description. If it's not there, just hit refresh. It should be there. Fill it out. Answer the question. You have to get the question right because I'm in Canada and there's rules. And I don't think I have to follow them for a giveaway, but I'm going to. You got to answer the question right. I'm going to draw around 10 o'clock p.m. tonight. So in about 2 hours, somebody's going to win an LGX. I will ship it to you. I will cover shipping as well. If it shows up and the delivery guy says you owe him for taxes, that's on you though. So, yes, everything's good. I got my batteries charged. So everything should be. So tonight, we're going to be wiring up the SKR. Before we get to that, you know who I'm going to talk about? Our sponsor, Thangs. Now tonight, I don't have a model to show off because you know what? I want to feature somebody. Thangs has many creators right now and the list is ever growing. People are uploading stuff all the time. So tonight, I'm just going to feature the creator that I use the most often. ChaosCoreTech. You're probably familiar with them. If you go to Thangs, I got a link in the description. You should click on that link. You can find a lot of these models that I've printed over the past couple months. From the Stonks guy to, because I have a bunch of polyalchemy elixir, I've been printing shiny stuff. All these are models by ChaosCoreTech. Chelsea does a lot of them on Twitter. So yeah, plenty of awesome models. Most of these can be printed without supports. Most of them are very good resin models as well. I don't think I have any on my shelf though right now. But yes, if you're looking for some fun stuff to print, all the way to the moon, totally check out ChaosCoreTech on Thangs. And if you want to support them more, they do have a Patreon. And then with their Patreon, you can get even more models. So, the reason I've been printing a lot, and polyalchemy is awesome, by the way. I can't believe I've never used it. This isn't a ChaosCoreTech model, but I printed that. Focus. It's so shiny. How's the Galileo? The Galileo is working just fine. I think I'm going to do a video this week talking about the Galileo, where do I got it? The afterburner. Losing parts of my afterburner. I'm going to do a video this week talking about all three options for extruders. Because I'm getting a lot of people asking which one do I recommend? Which one is the best? And the answer is very simple. I don't know. They're all good. So I'm going to talk about that this week. So I'll do a video this week. It's just going to be me talking, I think. I'll overlay some footage. But just kind of going through my thoughts now that I've used all three of them. I've printed a bunch of stuff with all of them. And while I can't do a full review on it, using an extruder for a week isn't enough time to do a full review. I can at least give you some of my opinions. So there's that. What else? I'm going to touch on something before we get to the wiring, because a lot of people are asking me about this. It's come up a lot on the Voron Discord. And while this channel is my own thing, this isn't the Voron show, this is my show. I am on the Voron development team, but when we're in the apron, I'm my own entity, whatever. I'm going to be talking about, how do I word this? Something that is coming up because a prominent YouTuber in the 3D printing community is going to be building a Voron 2.4. Tom Solander, he is building a Voron 2.4. He says he's going to stream it. If you're a Patreon member, he does a Patreon stream. He mentioned he's going to do it over, I think 4 to 5, 2 to 3 hour streams. That'll be interesting if he can make it within that time frame. But anyways, I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. He's going to be using a Slice Magnum Plus as the hot end. That's what he says he's going to use. This is the hot end. Now, it mounts the same as a standard Slice Mosquito. It's a little bit longer, so there is no official mount for it, and there never will be, and I'll touch on that. So here's the Magnum Plus. Now, the Magnum Plus isn't out yet. As of right now, I've only seen 3 videos from YouTubers. Well, 2. Ivan Miranda has one. Vez3D, V3D, he's doing some speed printing stuff, has one, and now Tom's going to be building. But you can't buy one, they're pre-order. So when you go to buy one, you have to go through like all these different options. Okay, you know, well, if I'm going to get the Magnum Plus, I'm going to go with dual heaters. And every video that I've seen with it so far is dual heaters. Go with dual thermistors. This is new. I've never seen when trying to buy a hot end that there's a disclaimer that you have to read. Okay. General machining and fabrication. Read all safety warning instructions. Failure to follow the warnings and instructions may result in electric shock, fire, or serious injuries. Save all warnings and instructions for future reference. You should print this off if you have a Magnum, apparently. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's no socks. Somebody just mentioned that. No sock. Slice can't do socks, apparently. So you got to buy them on AliExpress or make your own. I have a video on how to make your own sock. Keep work area clean, yada, yada, electrical safety, yada, yada, yada. This is all generic stuff, you know. Don't leave your printer alone and all that. Service, yada, yada. Magnum Plus safety warnings, adherence to instructions. This product comes with high power electronics. Yes, this is all, you know, standard. When installing the Magnum Plus 50-watt configuration, all plastic structural components between the hot end and the nearest linear guide rail must be made, blah, 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 blah. This is pretty standard. However, there's a whole section here on dual 50 watts. Installation of dual 50-watt heaters into the Mosquito Magnum Plus should be performed by professional 3D printer manufacturer or professional automation engineer. I'm not even one of those. So according to the recommendation, I shouldn't be installing one. Electrical current limitations of the 3D printer and components must not be exceeded. Most people don't know how many amps their controller board can take. 100 watts at 24 volts is 5.7 amps, roughly, if I'm not mistaken. My Duet 2, for example, can take 6 amps. So it's cutting pretty close on a Duet 2. I don't know what an Ender 3 board can take, but you're going to have to look that up. Temperatures exceed 600 can ignite plastic. Well, yes, don't run your hot end at 600. Use of attachments between the hot end and guide rail must be composed of metal structures to a metal recirculating ball bearing carriage riding on a metal guide rail. That is not metal. According to Slice, you cannot mount a Magnum Plus with the dual 50-watt heaters in a Voron. Recirculating ball bearings. You can't mount it on an Ender. You can't mount it with anything with V-wheels. You can't mount it with any plastic mounts. Metal attachments must be configured such that excess heat generated in a failure scenario involving runaway heating combined with the malfunction of the heatsink fan, temperature sensors, or liquid cooling system can dissipate heat through the metal structure. Attachment by, let me bring it back up here. Attachments by plastic structure is prohibited if dual 50-watt heaters are installed, since plastic restricts the dissipation of heat, may soften and structurally fail, increasing the risk of injury, fire, and damage to the 3D printer. Implementation of redundant temperature sensors is recommended. That's why it has 2. Acceptance of liability. 3D printers are useful tools when installed with Slice engineering hot ends in accordance with proper safety protocols. Magnum hot end configured with dual 50-watt heaters is a powerful industrial tool designed for installation and configuration by 3D printer manufacturers and professional automation engineers, and is inherently dangerous. By installing and or operating the Magnum Plus hot end, you agree to take responsibility for any and all risks associated with the installation and operation of the Magnum Plus hot end. So, if you buy this thing and install it, like the people we are giving it to right now to demo it, and it burns your house down, it's your own fault. So because of that reason, the Voron team does not officially condone, recommend, or endorse installing one of these on your 3D printer, and we will never have official mounts for this on the Voron. So, yes, it's a 3D printer. It's a hobby 3D printer. You could build a Voron or any 3D printer however you want. I can't stop you from buying one of these and put it on your printer. But according to them, that's not how you're supposed to do it. And since the Voron cannot officially support it because of what their wording is, it will never support it. So, yes, that's what I wanted to say on that. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people were asking me, because I did a speed benchy back when the whole thing started, and people keep asking me about the Magnum Plus and what do I think about it. I think it's great if you run 1.2, 1.4 millimeter nozzles in a big fabrication thing where you're making 2-meter tall prints. It does have a purpose. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. There is a purpose for this. It should not be on an Ender 3. It should not be on a Voron. So yes, that's the first time I've ever done like a rant. I don't like doing that. And I have spoken with members on the Voron team, the admin team, and we're all in consensus with this, that this hot end should not be on a Voron because of the way it mounts. If you want to mount it with the 50 watt, a single 50 watt heater, that is perfectly fine. That is within their stipulations here. Their own rules say you can mount it with a 50 watt heater, okay? But at that point, you might as well just buy a Volcano or a regular slice Magnum or any other standard high flow hot end. So yeah. And then also after all that, it's $410 US and you still have to buy the nozzle. So yeah, I won't be reviewing one. I won't be buying one, and I don't think Slice is going to send me one. So I'm not too concerned anymore. I don't really care. So we love our ranting. I don't like rants. I think that's the first time I've ever done one, and that's because it's a safety thing. So as soon as we saw that, like, I looked that up a week ago. I tried to pull it up on the site to try and look at it because I'm starting to see more and more of it. And as soon as there's a disclaimer when you try to buy something and it says do not mount it in plastic mounts. But I don't want nothing against Ivan Miranda. I love his videos. And if you're not subscribed to Ivan Miranda, he makes awesome videos. Okay. They're entertaining as all hell, but he mounted his Magnum Plus with dual heaters to a Bondtech LGX, or he didn't use an LGX, he used a different Bondtech. But he mounted it to a Bondtech, which is MJF, which is plastic, in a PLA housing on V wheels, which is against what Slice just told you that you're not supposed to do that to mount it. But he did it in a video to show it off, and Slice gave it to him to do that, so they know he did that. So I don't know. I personally think it's kind of not good juju to have have a company tell you not to do something, but then give it to people to do what they tell you not to do to advertise it. But whatever. Let's get to wiring. I don't want to spend too much time on that. What was that? Doc, $50. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yes, Doc knows about this too. The whole upper echelon of the Voron team, which by the way, the Voron team is like, what, 50 people now. So yeah, but we're all pretty much in accordance, in agreement with that. So let's get wiring. So where we left off last week, I still have a messy desk. We've got our SKR in, our Raspberry Pi came in, got a whole bunch of wires. I've got the electronics, the power supplies, the SSR underneath. Yeah, we're going to continue on the wiring. Now, one thing that I actually forgot to do, and we're going to have to do it right now, is I don't have my end stop installed. My Y end stop, I need to solder up. So where is my soldering iron? So we are going to wire up the SSR and get that going. David's here. Hi, David. Everyone say hi, David. How long does this gotta be? So it goes from there to there. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna use a different color wire for this. Oh, background music. Sorry, background music. There we go. I want to not have background music on during my little rant there. So. And yes, don't forget to enter the contest. I'm going to draw around 10 o'clock tonight for the LGX. And then I will email you, and then I will ask you for, like, I'm going to need your, like, address and all that stuff. So, 22 or 24. I use, so this is PTFE from China. So, it's AliExpress PTFE. I'm liking it so far. All my high voltage stuff, so like my fans, end stops, all that, that's 22 gauge. Spec is 20 gauge. This stuff I couldn't get in 20 gauge, so I'm using 22, but it's still pretty small diameter, so it works. And then the heat, or correction, sorry, 24 gauge. Fans and end stops and probes, that's all 24 gauge, but I'm using 22. And then your heater is 20 gauge. And then for mains, I run 16 gauge for mains. Is the fan on the back of the V2 supposed to be sucking air out or pushing it? It's supposed to suck air out through, it sucks the air out and then pushes it through the filter. I don't run the exhaust fan on any of my printers, and I'm not going to be installing one on one of these. I've watched a few of those streams. I don't recall ever hearing the name of the V2. The V2 is Tallboy. Oh, wait. Sheva. I literally just put the question there just to make it so if somebody had to actually, you know what the heck's going on to enter the question or answer the contest. Frankly, I really don't care. I was tempted to put like a super complicated question and then just not care what the answer was, just to see what people wrote, just to have fun, but finish sourcing parts. Good luck. Why aren't you using the back fan? I don't need my printer room here is in my basement. I have all the doors closed when the printers are running, and my actual my duct, like my fan, or not fan, the AC, the vent is plugged off in this room. So pretty much everything in this room stays in this room, including all smells and vapors and everything. So I don't have to run the exhaust for any of that. And by plugging it up, I can get higher chamber temps, which that's what we're going for with this guy. Okay, so I'm going to announce that. Mike Connor just said there is a pre-purchase of 2.4 LDO frames going on in Australia right now with unique prints if anyone is interested. So for all the Aussies, if you're looking to get a LDO frame, which this is an LDO frame, they did send it to me. Jason sent it to me for this build. It is an awesome frame. Great colors. You can also get it from Printed Solid. Hi, David. And if you're in Canada, Sparta 3D, who also helped out with a portion of this build. So right now, I got to solder on some wires for this end stop, install that, and then we're going to move on to crimping, which you guys all love crimping. So what I'm thinking is we'll do bottom compartment stuff first, and then we'll do the backpack stuff. Because the bottom compartment, there isn't really much. Reed, I said the answer like 2 minutes ago. I'm sure somebody in chat help Reed. Yeah, Australia's back when I did PIF, I did printed forward back in 2.1 days, and somebody from Australia reached out to me asking if I could ship them the parts, and I looked up the shipping and it was ridiculous. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. Essential trimmers suck. No, good enough. There we go. Mounted the LGX on V0, loving it so far. It's a really good extruder. So I'm gonna do, I said it at the beginning of the stream, but I'm gonna try and put out a video this week just talking about the 3 extruders. Because honestly, whenever you watch like a review video and it's just somebody showing prints, comparing things, it's very hard to judge something off of a print. There are so many different factors that go into affecting print quality. Changing one thing doesn't really, as long as it's good, okay? Yes, there's a difference between, you know, the bone stock LG or the bone stock Ender 3 extruder and like a Bondtech LGX or a BMG or what is it, the CNC thing. Like there's, it's like headphones, right? A $10 pair of headphones is pretty crappy. A $50 pair of headphones is pretty good. $100 is pretty good, but beyond that, you're talking incremental improvements, right? So I think extruders are one of those things. If it's geared and dual drive, it's pretty much good. What printer is Silverback? That's Tallboy. We kind of went with that name for a little bit because it has the one rear silver extrudent, but it never really stuck. How's the Physx Spider going? Really good. I was printing some mounts before stream, and it's the printer. It's a little bit quieter now because it's 2209s. Before I had the Duet and it had 2660s. So, you know, it is a bit quieter, but in terms of like prints, the prints are the same. I haven't really, not much is going to change there. Like, actually, I don't think I can fit this in here. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I don't need that. Spool 3D. I ordered from them way back in the day, and I haven't used them since. I I don't have any bad experience with them. I've heard some people have had experience with them that wasn't great, but I can't say because I reuse them. H Colorado, first time here, loving your points. Thank you. Hope you enjoy the stream every Saturday night. So make sure you're subscribed. Don't want to miss out. Subscribe, like that smash button, ring that bell, all YouTuber words. Trying to get this to fit in here. That's tight. There we go. Oh, I broke it. But it's in. We're good. Okay. So this end stop goes here. That will hit off there. No, it will not because I have a zip tie in the way. I gotta change that. I will fix that after. What torque wrench do I use? It's this guy here. If you just go on Thingiverse and just search torque wrench, it's like one of the first ones that show up. Rui, just got the 2.4 up and running. Want to say thanks and great informative content and hard work putting your videos. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Happy to hear it's up and running. Glad they helped. If I grab the right Allen key. Thoughts on 3? Honestly, don't use 3mm filament. It's pretty much going extinct now, for good reason. The reason is on 3mm filament, you can't really as it moves through the heater cartridge and the nozzle and all that, it doesn't really have time to heat up properly and basically cook to the center. So that's why you see everyone switching to 1.7. Well, not switching. It's the future. It's 2021. Everyone has switched to 1.75. Now, if you're planning on printing with like a 2mm nozzle or something super fat like that, yeah, probably stick with the 3mm. But for home gamer, you probably want 1.75. Plus, there's a much more variety of filaments with 1.75. Okay, so now I gotta fix these. Dustin Speed, $20. Thank you, appreciate it. Dad jokes are strong with this quiz. I was going more for the Monty Python joke. Where do I complain about vendors from the recommended vendor list? My M3 peanuts don't go on the rail. If it's a major issue with something on the list on the website, I would open a ticket. Okay, let me take off the noise canceling headphones so I can hear this. There we go. It goes click. We're good. Well, that's Ultimaker. Well, Ultimaker is more a, they're not really a consumer level product anymore. They've put their hat into the prosumer and prosumer group, pretty much. Okay, so we will leave those there. That can go there. Let me get some more of this cable twisty stuff. Let's flip it face down and we'll start wiring stuff up, guys. So, unfortunately, I actually don't have my inlet. I was going to use, I thought I had one, and this does look like an inlet, but this is the wrong one. This is like the generic one off AliExpress, and the mount isn't designed for these. The mount is designed for the, I think it's Adams Tech, which I have ordered. It's on its way. It's just not in yet. So if we get to the point where I got to power it up, I do have one that I can use, but I won't be able to install the planned one at this time. I need my bag of V1.8 and hammerhead. Is there a good comparison between the flow? It really depends what you want to print. I've always said, and I've never had an issue, if you only ever plan on printing with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle at 0.2 millimeter layer height, go with a standard flow hot end. Okay? High flow hot ends, while the newer ones are pretty good when it comes to like issues like stringing and oozing, compared to like the older styles like the Volcano, they usually do require more tweaking to get a final quality of print out of them. Not saying it's impossible, it's actually quite easy. But they just have the possibility of causing more issues. So my go-to has always been, if you don't need high flow, don't get high flow. But that's just me. Now, when it comes to recommendations, depends on your budget. A V6 is a good hot end. V6 with a titanium heat break and a good nozzle is a good hot end. But it's not rigid mount. I like my rigid mount. You have the Dragon. Can't really get the Dragon right now because of issues, which Tom did a video on today. Should go watch that video. Go watch that video by Tom. You need a high flow wallet to use a slice engineering hot end. Hey, I've got 2 mosquitoes, man. I've got 2 slice engineering mosquitoes that I bought from a group buy that they shipped using the wrong method. So all the Canadians got burned by customs. And we ended up losing money. Well, not losing, but spending more than it would have been to just buy them here. I still keep the lollipop on my desk to remind me of that. Also, I bought two, okay? I bought 2 mosquitoes for 2 printers. They only gave me 1 sticker. I only got the 1 slice sticker. Oh yeah, I bought them way before the Dragon was around. Personally, like in terms of, you know, using the hot end, I like the Dragon more than my mosquitoes. I don't have to deal with the thermal paste. I think they charge $10 for the thermal paste. I remember somebody shared me a picture of a bucket of the stuff for like $20 or something like that. So I don't have to use the 5,000% markup thermal paste that gets everywhere, and it's an absolute mess if you got to replace anything. And it's a pain in the butt to work with. And I like the V6 block style where it's longer front to back because everything is designed that way. So, yeah. So we're gonna have some wires. Off. How's the shipping, in fact, import costs? During the buy, we requested that they shipped it with one carrier, who we know up here in Canada doesn't usually screw us over when it comes to like shipping fees and whatnot, and they shipped it with a different carrier. And then when we mentioned that, they're like, "Oh, that sucks," and that's it. Oop, I heard the jingle. Give me a second. Did I lose my? Where'd my? Go. Oh, there it is. Okay, what I missed? Mark, 100. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Been listening to this for a while. Huge help for everything 3DP. I'm glad you're streaming and sharing your experience from our Tim Hortons ridding Great White North. Thanks for all the shared knowledge. Keep on streaming and long live Doggo. Use it to build something great. Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying the streams. Thank you. They use no, I think they use FedEx. We requested USPS. I like USPS. I know it's gone to crap lately, I guess. But in the past, I've always used USPS because when it shows up, we usually don't get screwed over when it comes to like brokerage fees and whatnot. But with, dang it, I don't know where I put it all. Oh, that'll work. Yeah, 14 gauge will work. But what ended up happening was they shipped it with FedEx. So we had to pay FedEx's fee, the tax on top, the brokerage fee. I think they didn't put the discounted price on it either. So we paid tax on the full price. And yeah, we weren't too happy. Yeah. So how I'm going to run my wires, by the way. So I'm going to have high voltage coming in here. Inlet's going to be here. I'm going to run high voltage to the main power supply, the 200 watt power supply, and then the 24 volt. And then I'm also going to piggyback it off there to the Raspberry Pi power supply. And then also got to run one to here. So all the power. So just daisy chain. So that's the ground. I always hook ground up first. That's just how I do it. The Magnum Plus, they claim some absurd number like 80 millimeters a second, but that's also printing at 300 Celsius with ABS. In terms of the Nova's capacity, it would be the same as a copper block Volcano. Yeah, and from what I've heard from some people who have it, that's pretty much to be expected because it's still just a copper block Volcano. When I was doing speed benchings, with a... Let me pull it up here. Okay. So you can see right there, my heater is heating up. Okay, this is my sliced mosquito with a 50-watt heater. So watch this. Let me move it up a bit. Hear the resonance off. Don't ever use a metal bed, a metal bottom plate, by the way, kids. Okay, so I'm gonna pump it up to 240 Celsius, and then I'm gonna feed 100 millimeters of plastic through it at 5 millimeters a second. Just to kind of show you what would be expected in terms of heater cartridge use. So this is a standard flow mosquito with a 50-watt heater cartridge. Okay, so I'm going to extrude 100 millimeters at 5 millimeters a second. Watch the power percentage right here. Okay, extrude. So you can see the plastic coming out. So you can see it's working, but it's not even hitting. It's spiked at 60%. Okay, so if I can push 100 millimeters of plastic at 5 millimeters a second and not even use the full 50-watt cartridge, what is 100 watts going to get you out of a Nova? Because I think that's what they sell the Nova with. They sell it with 100. And this is with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, granted. So if you're printing with like a 0.8, obviously it's going to be higher. But that just goes to show you how much you really need. So yeah. So it's not a case of big number, more better. It's big number is waste of money. Slice sells the stiffeners as a kit. What's stiffener? And this is using a sock that I had to buy from Triangle Labs because Slice doesn't make socks. Yeah, just Jeremy Clarkson it, guys. Just more power. Diego, 1281. Greetings from Double T, 44.8. Thank you, appreciate it. Where's my crown? Oh man, I'm gonna have to take that off. That's gonna be annoying. Oh, the wind chimes. That's what the whole thing is about, by the way. The whole patent thing is literally the wind chimes. It has nothing to do with bimetallic. Actually, have that go the other way. Yeah, let's have that go the other way. Swap from mainsail to fluid on my Voron. Initial impression seemed fluid has more features. Which one do I prefer? I run both, okay? At this time, I can't say which one I like the most because I run different. I don't think I run the up-to-date variant on any of my printers. Actually, no, V2.26 has the most up-to-date version of Fluid, because I had to update it when I installed Thingamajig, when I installed the Spider. So, yes. I don't know. I don't have anything running the most up-to-date variant of Mainsail, so I can't really say. In terms of the aesthetics, I do like Fluid more. Yeah, we're gonna use 14 gauge silicone because that's what I have. I don't know where my 16 gauge went. Most water, and if it works, pretty much that's how I roll. Like, Tallboy is still running Octoprint, simply for the fact that I haven't gotten around to updating it, and it's running a Taco Raven. And I know it works, so I ain't gonna mess with it. Patent was about having a reinforced hot end. Yeah, and if you read the patent, they like threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at it when it comes to reinforcing your hot end. So it's like almost impossible to figure out a way to get around that. But honestly, I really don't care about slicing the patent thing anymore. Johnny, $1. Thank you. Appreciate it. Johnny, $1. Thank you. Appreciate it. I have issues with the new RepRap firmware installer. I don't use RepRap firmware. The only printer I have with RepRap is my Ender 3, which is running RepRap on a Mellow Fly RepRap firmware board. And I like it for the Ender 3. And actually, I'm going to be playing with the Ender 3 this week. I'm going to do a video series, probably, I'll try and record it this week, on, I'm going to do a bunch of upgrades to the Ender. Because I think I finally decided on the upgrades I'm going to do to it. That would probably be not quite the most bang for the buck, but I'm going to be doing some very common ones and not so common stuff to it to kind of get it to what I would consider to be a good Ender 3. Basically, if I had to run the Ender 3 as my one printer, this is what I would do to it. What PSU is that? That is a UHP 224. So it is still a 200 watt, 24 volt power supply. However, it is a smaller form factor and about twice the price. It is not required. I just went with it because it's kind of cool. And I want to try it out because Doc likes it. I figured, hey, I'll give it a shot. Hemera on the Ender 3. Yes, the Hemera is going on the Ender 3. And I know the issue with the gantry sag is a thing. because the Ender 3 only has one lead screw. So the second end, it was just flapping in the wind. So yes, the Chimera is a little bit heavier than a BQ-H2, which I have on it right now. But I actually have I brought my inner wrap at home, dial indicator. So I'm actually going to measure how much, if any, the gantry sags completely empty with the BQ-H2 on it, and then how much it was sag with an Chimera on it. So I already got the mounts all printed up for it and everything. And metal Durton skin, $5. Thank you, appreciate it. Put direct drive orbiter on Ender 3 or go whole hog and build a Core XY. The Ender 3 is going to stay in Ender 3. It's going to get the Chimera. The orbiter that I have, I'm saving it for a project that I want to do, that I'm still trying to get my hands on one. If anyone knows anyone with a first generation Ultimaker, hit me up. Ooh. Well, he's in his diaper. Okay, we got Doggo. You want to say goodnight, Calvin? Okay. You go goodnight. Goodnight? Night? Kiss?
No.
No? Okay, back to Mama.
Hi, Dad.
Alright. Kiss? Mwah. No? Oh, okay. Good night. Say good night. Say good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
No.
Well, it still says stripper cam on the screen. Doggo. Okay, don't grab this stuff. Here, you want something? You want something? What can I give him? Here, take the muscular mushroom, man. The mask? You want the mask? There you go. Okay, good night. Visitors. Little guy's bedtime. He should be in bed right now. Okay, what was I talking about? Muscular Mushroom Man. Yeah, the Muscular Mushroom Man. Go watch my video on the resin printer. I know, he has a habit of just coming in here and just grabbing some random model that I have that I like printed for a video or something and just taking it and it's gone. So. Okay, so there we go. So. I did that backwards. I'm gonna stop doing that. And I'm probably sure, I think I forgot to say it, but I don't even need to look. Duff 699 Doggo, thank you, appreciate it. Right? I am right. So don't forget, in the description, go click the link to Thangs and download and print one of those ChaosCoreTech models. They're awesome. And you know what? After you print it, go back on Thangs and upload a picture of the one you printed. Because they have pictures on the site now. You can upload pictures of things you've printed. So go do that. And then also while you're in the description, enter the contest. Win yourself a Bondtech LGX. I'm buying. It's not sponsored. I'm just doing it because why not? I haven't given away something in a while. And I want to do that. Both mine are fully grown. Yeah, he just turned 3 but it's end of May, 2 months ago. They get big quick. When will I view the switchboard? I'm not going to get one of those. And it's not a clone. It's a, literally, they have the plans. That honestly, we don't care that a company in China, for those that don't know, follow me on Twitter at 3DPNero. I posted pictures of it. And then also those pictures are from the Voron Discord in the Magic Studios channel. There's a company, there's a trade show going on in China right now. A lot of 3D printing stuff there. And there is a company that is selling or planning to sell or whatever. It's a direct clone of a switch wire. All they did was make a switch wire and put their own logo on it. So they took the Voron logo off the STLs and put their own logo on it. So the thing is, we don't care. You are allowed to make and sell Vorons. That is part of GPL V3. You are allowed commercialization. I could start up a store tomorrow selling Vorons. You could start up a store selling Vorons. You just have to say it's a Voron and give attribution. You have to say it's a Voron and link to the Voron GitHub or something. Like, you're allowed to. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that, and we really don't care if you do that. But the fact that it's the fact they're trying to pass it off as their own. And if you read, like, somebody translated a bunch of this stuff, it's like years of development and yada yada. It's like, you didn't do shit. The most you did was, you know, change out the logo. Like, it's legit exactly one for one of Voron. So why would I review it? I have a Voron right here. It's not cloning if it's open source. It's alternative production. Exactly, Mr. Aki. Like, Voron is not a company because none of us want to deal with running a company. It started as a company. MZ Bot, which that's what the logo is. It's MZ. It's MZ Bot. Started as a company. He sold one printer and a bunch of Voron kits and then realized, no. Correct, John. They have modified the original files without attribution, which is a violation of the GPL V3. So technically they violated the rule, which is why we're kind of like, what the heck, guys? You can do this just fine. You just have to say it's a Voron. So don't try to pass it off as your own. Say it's a Voron and then sell it. Which, honestly, they'd probably do better doing that because then they get access to like the whole Voron ecosystem. They could say it's a Voron and there's like the word is out there. And people go, I'm just going to buy this instead of building my own. And Fadus has, yeah, they have the video of my Dragonfly review playing at their booth. Which, they never asked me to do that. I don't care. The video's on YouTube. You can do whatever with it. People have been making GIFs and memes of my streams lately. So I don't care what you do with my videos, but they never asked me to do that. They just did that. In case you don't notice, I don't use those, I know a lot of people like those blocks where you can plug all the wires in. I don't use those, I just wire stuff directly. That's just kind of how I do it. They have spent years researching logo switching technology. They're at the forefront. Who's making GIF memes? I don't know, but if you go like on Discord or Tenor, I think it works on I think they use the same, Twitter uses the same site. But if you go like, you know, on Discord, you can search GIFs. If you type Nero 3DP, there's a whole bunch of me now. I'm like, Okay. So that is that. I'm gonna have to have another live go to there, then a neutral go to there. Yeah. We're in Canada. All right. I'm in the southern part of Canada. Deep fake. Don't deep fake me. That shit's creepy. I can't stop you. It's the internet, but that's creepy. Put the little cover back on. Go. So those 3 wires will come out there. That's there. I need to run one more live. Because you switched the live. Are there any files to put RepRap firmware on the SKR2 anywhere? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure you can install RepRap on the SKR2. It has a hookup for a drop-in board or Wi-Fi, because you're gonna need Wi-Fi. But I have zero clue. Sorry. I don't do the RepRaps that often. Do I think servo or BLDC? No. What? Oh, you giving me the mushroom man back? Okay. You gonna say hi? Say hi. Calvin, look, it's you. Hi. Hi. Thank you. Say hi.
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 Say don't forget to subscribe.
Hi.
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 Can you say like the smash button? Like the smash button? Hi. Okay, you gotta go sleep. Gotta go sleep. Okay, say bye. Bye. You gonna say bye? Bye. No. Good night. Good night. Oh, okay. Too bad. No. No, you gotta leave the light on. I need the lights. Guy. What do I think about the Strasis does ABS, etc. Dual nozzle, no fan. Strasis is an industrial machine, and there's a whole different ecosystem with that. What works with industrial machines and large-scale commercial machines doesn't really scale to home scale that well. And in terms of like, just go back to the other question, in terms of servos and BLDCs and like all that fancy stuff, frankly, no, I don't think it is for the average person. Yeah, like the speed benchy guys will probably get more use out of them, okay? But you got to understand, the vast majority of people, it's like overclocking your computer, okay? You have the guys that do overclocking their computers with, you have guys overclocking their computers and they're using, you know, liquid nitrogen and all that. But your guy at home is still, you know, cooling his PC with the stock Intel fan, right? So using servos, O drives, stuff like that on a 3D printer is honestly not probably worth it for the absolute vast majority of people. Oh, wow. It would help if I crimped the connector on. Because you have to understand, on a good printer, like any printer with a good motion system, you could outrun most hot-ends already with just NEMA 17s and A4988s on a ramps running Clipper. Look at Nitram, the current guy who has the, I don't know if he still has it anymore, but sub 5-minute benchy on a Delta, which is a kinematic that you need a lot of brain power to run. He's running a Tri-Gorilla. It's an 8-bit board with ramps. So, yeah. So no, plus they're expensive. They are really expensive O drives. They're like, what, $200 each, I think, if I'm not mistaken, last I checked. So yeah. So maybe industrial and commercial machines, maybe, but you're not seeing Ultimaker use them. You're not seeing Strasus use them. They're still, you know, using stepper motors because it's the most cost-effective, most efficient, you know, well, not efficient, but best bang for your buck way of doing it. There we go. Okay. That's that. That's that. You're gonna go to there. And I don't have any, but I'm gonna have proper zip ties for these. $30, so 30, 20, so $50 per motor, plus $140 encoder. When I can go buy the cheapest SKR, a $10 NEMA 17, and a Pi Zero for $10 from Micro Center, and still outrun my hot end. Like that's the problem. You gotta remember, when I asked you guys to send me your pictures of printers, it's not just for a video I want to do. It's because I want to see what you guys have. And of the 100-something pictures I got, 80 of them are V-Wheel i3 of some sort. That's what the average person has. The average person has an Ender 3 or an Ender 3 clone or an Ender 3 derivative. That's what people are using. So yeah. So that goes there. Right on for now. I'll just use this stuff. Does anyone apply Captain Tape? There is. I would get the reflective stuff. There's some reflective material that you can get, and that's what I would recommend for your the probe. And you only need to put it on the front, where like it faces the heater, the hot end. The Ender 5 is a Core XY, I think. Core XZ. I'm actually waiting. When now that the switch wire is out, we fully expect some company to clone it at some point. Well, not clone it. We fully expect it to be for sale at some point. We honestly thought, like I thought, if anyone's gonna, you know, sell Voron, somebody was going to have a switch wire, because that's probably the easiest one to replicate in terms of design and be able to make it mass producible is a switch wire. So I was fully expecting to actually see switch wires by now on the market, and the fact that I haven't is actually kind of surprising to me, I think. Looking for, oh yeah, I dropped that. Da-da-da-da. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Oh well. Gloopman, yes, I know about that. We were already talking about that earlier. Like, I expected that sooner. Put it that way. Yeah, see, I don't like that. Maybe I can push that. Trying to figure out how to get these small wires to grip onto this. An Ender 4? I don't know, maybe? I don't know. Core XZ with V wheels, I don't know, because you gotta remember, Core XZ isn't common. Like, there's the switch wire, some random video from like 2013, I think, on YouTube, and then that's about it for Core XZ stuff you can find. It is not a super common, by any means, motion system. That'll do. Hooking up the low voltage side of the SSR right now. I hate wiring sideways. Ah! There we go. Well, Core XZ has advantage. Core XZ, it's a lot cheaper than Core XY. Because you can already use pretty much all the existing hardware that you have on an Ender 3, right? So in terms of pitching that to like, hey, Creality, build a Core XZ, they already have everything. All they need to change is the XZ motion. So you just need an AB motor mount and XY joints. Everything else is commercial off the shelf, right? There's stuff already in inventory. So yeah, that makes it a heck of a lot easier to sell, put it that way. Go. I'll hook the other one up later. So that goes there. So now we're going to need some wire powering the SKR. And I'm going to use some 20 gauge. Where is my 20 gauge? Is this my 20 gauge? 20 gauge. Yep. Love the music. So for those that don't know, I stream Stream Beats by Harris Heller. He's a DJ type guy. He makes YouTube videos on setting up streams and whatnot. I watched a bunch of them when I started, although his videos are mostly for like sit down streamers, honestly. So not really a lot of applies to like my setup. Still good videos. But anyways, he has a whole library of music that is royalty free, specifically for live streaming, so I don't get copyright striked. So we're listening to his synthwave playlist right now. So good stuff. I like it. Because honestly, it helps a lot when I'm just staring at something crimping wires. It helps a lot with background. Gotta get that ambiance. How are we doing with entries for the LGX? If you haven't entered yet, make sure you've entered. 225 people have entered so far. However, wow. I've given 226 people the opportunity to win an LGX, but only 80 have liked the smash button. I gotta do something about that. You guys, come on. Come on. Disappointed. Come on, guys. People be slacking. That's the main power right there. Okay. Got the right one. Yes, I did. Smooshed it. There we go. I like to see that. Too much flex in V wheels for Core XZ. I think you could pull it off. Maker Viking, hello. Did that 2 hours before the stream. What were you doing here 2 hours before the stream? Don't you guys have families? Okay, so that should be enough for under the hood for now. Put this back on. Now we'll move over to wiring up the top stuff. There. Put stripper cam somewhere else. There we go. You know, I don't even know if I'm going to use it. There. Got my handy dandy notepad because we wrote down what goes where. So what are we going to need? We are going to need JST connectors, stripper, more JST connectors, my crimper, and we're going to need ferrules. And my ferrule crystal. What do I think of the Annex new printer Tyco? I like the name. Other than that, this is the very first time I'm hearing of it. Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen it. Oh, stripper cam. You can sit up here with all the electronics that I need to use on something at some point. Raspberry Pis everywhere. Okay, so let's pull up SKR2, the actual wiring of this thing. So here's one of my criticisms for the SKR, the SKR2 at least, is when you look at it from the front, not a lot is visible. You do have some silk screening here for, you know, your motors and whatnot. But okay, okay, are these the fans? I think these are the fans. But like their silk screening on the front ain't the greatest, honestly. I wish they did a better job with that. I know they crammed a lot on there, so it's probably not enough room, obviously, but I like being able to look at it and go, oh, this is a positive, this is a negative. So let me see if I can find a pin out. No. I got that. Oh, they do have plus and minus for the fans. So CNC fans. That. No, I don't have any questions. Go away. But normally they have just a straight pinout diagram. That's what I want. Which I don't have. I gotta go looking. AliExpress. Usually, honestly, AliExpress is where I find most of it. Have you looked at doing anything crazy with your motion system, such as extremely hard Nitrodox linear rails or MP3? No. I run cheap China rails and I've had 0 issues with them, so I don't really think I should need to drop more on rails. Or some crazy coating on them. I don't have a pinout. It's annoying. Okay. Well, I'm going to use this. Overhead. So, hey, look, it's everything's there. Chat's down here, I believe. Yeah, chat's here. Hi, chat. Hello. Okay. Wires. So, there is no pinout for this right now, just so you guys are aware. There is, or correction, there is no configuration for this. So I'm going to be making a configuration from scratch. That will probably be hopefully next week's stream. So I will be creating a clipper config from scratch. Here. Now, granted, it won't be completely from scratch because I'll be using an already existing config for a V1.8 as a base. But I'll be creating a config for the SKR2 from scratch. Does the SKR 2.0 have room for the PT100 stick? It does not. It only has 5 jumpers, which I need to figure out where to put them. Or 5 end stops. Or English. Yeah, it only has 5 step 6. But I don't have the PT100 in it right now. So it's not a big issue. I can honestly, it uses the same plugs. So I can literally swap the boards in probably like half an hour if I need to go to the SKR Pro. But I've got longer term plans for this. So I'm not too concerned with PT100 right now. DOS boot. Oh no, we're not going to get to printing tonight. If we're lucky, I might get the Raspberry Pi, have something installed in it. Okay, so jumpers, I need... Actually, this is backwards. Shoot. Right? No. I gotta move that. Dang it, I moved the wrong one. Goes there. Right? And this SKR2, by the way, is the updated one. This is the one that they fixed the blowing up PMCs issue. So, yeah. What time are we at anyways? You guys got half an hour to enter the contest. He sent me a pinout link in Discord. Yeah, if you guys ever try to reach me on Discord, you have to at me in the chat. Because Discord doesn't pop up when I'm streaming. There we go. This is what you need. Because this tells you all your pins and everything. So you're going to need this when you go to make a config. So you just add that there. So lose it. Using fan 0 on the SKR for part cooling. Make sure you might have to flip it, I think. I don't know. You might have to put like a little exclamation mark. Not 100% sure. Try a different hookup and see if it changes. Okay. So, got that there. That's there. That's there. Let's put our TNCs in. So these are 2209s. And simply just comparing them to the FISEC ones, don't go in as easily. Get in your home. If you go there. Sure. So 2209s, which honestly, for 99% of people, this is the driver you want. And these are the V1.2 version, whatever that is. Put our little heat sinks on. So, eventually, I will have a fan blowing in here. And the fan will be right about here. And it'll just blow air in, so it'll be like a cross flow. So, Zach L, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, and for the member stream, I know I was planning to do one this month. Next month, June, I have the week of the 24th off work. So because I will have time during the day when I don't have to work, I'm going to do the daytime stream then, because I know it's pretty late, my normal stream time for a lot of the Europeans. So the week of the 21st, maybe the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I'll know closer. I am going to be doing a members only stream. So for members of YouTube members and Patreons as well. So if you're a Patreon supporter, a YouTube member, I will be doing a daytime stream, members only, the week of the 21st, early afternoon my time, so like 2 or 3 p.m. hopefully. That should be enough for most of the time zones to be in agreement. So that's when I will be doing the members stream. But I do want to do one because you guys are awesome, and I kind of want to do a little something for you guys. So, what will we be doing? I don't know yet, but we'll be doing something. Let's give this guy some power. Power is that one. Let's boot. Since you're recently official business owner, what type of business will you practice? Oh yeah, I'm officially a business owner. Because I have, you know, I am making money off this. There is income. I have a sponsor. I have a Patreon, yada yada. There's money coming in. So to make my life easier come tax time, Neuro 3D is now a business registered in Ontario, Canada. It is super awkward going into a bank and being like, yo, I'm setting up a business. They're like, oh, great. What kind of business? I make videos on the internet. It is surprisingly not that weird. Because apparently the nice lady at the bank who helped me out, like, oh, okay. Like, I expected a little bit more weird. Because it sounds super weird. Yes, I make videos on the internet. Saying your YouTube account name out loud is still weird, though. Like, it's like, yeah. Hello, I run Neuro 3D. It sounds weird. Yes. Exactly, educational. That's what they actually put me down as. I make educational videos. OnlyFans, only benchies. Go to onlybenchies.com. Make sure you're subscribed. But I am actually going to be what is the term, rebranding in the near future. Hopefully, I need to get some art made up. But it's just going to be Neuro 3D. I'm going to drop the P. Okay, so that's bed out. So power is the upper one. Which one is the positive? Check the... Okay, power is... 24 volts is the bottom one. Nero DP. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I gotta kind of change the logo. People still keep thinking it's 3 Nero DP. You know, most people who say that are obviously joking. Wiring and stripping and crimping. Wiring and stripping and crimping. I think I'm gonna just do some streams where we just print stuff at some point. Just hangout streams where we just look at videos and print stuff and whatnot. What's that thing the other the Twitch streamer, media share? Let's do a media share stream. Pay me to watch videos, guys. Does Voron call for Delrin rails? No, Voron calls for like just China rails. CNA. If LDO is a good option if you're okay with spending a bit more on rails, because LDO makes great rails. Well, they're very good for their price. Put it that way. That's what I'm actually using in here. I'm using LDO rails. Hot tub stream. My mom has a hot tub. She lives 5 minutes from here. I could bring a printer one day. Although I stream on YouTube, not Twitch, so the meta is a little bit different. There is no YouTube stream meta. LDO better than Highwind? No. But Highwinds are an absolute waste of money in a 3D printer. What do? I strip on YouTube. You have the stripper cam. where did I put? Yeah, DIN rails are spec, which they're awesome. Like, it was about a year ago when we started using them in the designs. I can't remember who brought them up first, but they are awesome to use. Because, oh, hey, I need to take the Raspberry Pi off. Okay, there. Little clippy mount. Everything's clippy. There, SKR's off. SKR's on. I love DIN rails. It's funny because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Vorons, and this is the first one to have a DIN rail. All my other ones just have printed plastic mounts for all the electronics. Okay, so right now, the SKR, I've run power to the SKR. Okay, so this is the 20 gauge wire is feeding at 24 volts. Right now, this is the 20 gauge wire that is for the SSR. So with the SSR, it's controlling your bed, but it's low voltage, right? So I'm looking for my screwdriver. So it's low voltage. However, I'm still going to use the bed out as the control for it. Now, I could use a fan. I could use any switch that is controllable, any pin that's controllable to control the SSR. That's on this one, anywhere from 5 to 24 volts will work. But I'm just going to use the bed, just because it's easier. It's still good to try and keep things as they're labeled. So, you know, you don't need the full beefy bed MOSFET to run an SSR. It's still the bed. So it just makes it easier to like wrap your head around and prevent issues and errors and whatnot when it comes to wiring and remember where things are hooked up to. So we have that. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is actually power this guy up. So I am going to figure out where this guy needs to go. Crimp some connectors on. Plug it in. And hopefully no sparky sparks. Do they slide on the DIN rails? No, the electronics. Most of the electronics, these are the printed brackets for Voron. Like when you download all the files for Voron, these are in there. This is the Raspberry Pi mount. It has this little spring portion, so it clips right on. So you just kind of, there, it's on. And then to pull it off, you just pull it up and then unhook it. But they hook on, so you don't need to slide them on or slide them off. Now, they're not super rigid, so you can, you know, slide them around, but if you're not touching it, it'll stay where it's at. So, I use hammerheads for my skirts and stuff. Hello from Australia, waiting on the spider and the last few things from a 2.4. But you're in Australia. You already have spiders. Use 14 for the mains, but you can actually get away with 20. But put 20 where DC currents are actually higher. Why? It's about amperage. I use 16 gauge for mains as a habit because of home wiring. It all comes down to amperage, but I just like using 16 gauge for mains voltage because, you know, when I was in college and I did home electrical classes, I used 16 gauge for home electrical. So I like using 16 gauge. The only reason I'm using 14 is because I don't know where my 16 is right now. So I like using 16 gauge for my home wire for for mains voltage. And honestly, the wires going from the power supply, the 24 volt, to the SKR, I probably will swap to 16 gauge at some point, just because they're the heaviest load wires in the system, other than the main wires going in. It's honestly, when in doubt, go with a bigger wire, because there's really no harm to going with a bigger wire. What, that's hot. Let's see. Okay, that's off. Turn it over. So that way, if we get some sparks, you guys get some footage. Because, come on, at least, you know, if I blow something up, I at least got to get the clip. Circuit breaker here. Overhead cam, maybe? Yeah, overhead cam. So we should see, let me unplug this. So this is how I like to do my testing. I wire up the power supply. Normally I test the power supply by itself. However, I think I'm okay. Yeah, so that's live, that's live. That's live, neutral, ground, ground, neutral. Okay. Then we got positive, negative. Positive are in the middle. Yeah. So how I do it is basically I test it in stages. Okay. So right now, normally I would just test the power supply. Feed the power supply, make sure the light comes on, check the voltage. Okay, make sure it's whatever voltage you want. Most power supplies have a little potentiometer somewhere where you can adjust the output voltage. This one doesn't, I don't think. But for twice the price of an LRS, it better be good. So there's that. And then I'll hook up the controller board, make sure the controller board lights up. And then I go and hook everything else up. So right now we're going to skip all that, just check everything all at once, and hopefully we don't get a spark. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, we got lights. Let me get my multimeter. Is my multimeter. Fans of the channel will know what happened last time I used one of these guys to check my voltages. We should see 24. 24.2. I can live with that. Actually, nope. Let me turn it back on and check the output on the Raspberry Pi to make sure we got 5 volts. Negative. 5 volts. Right? Nope. Five volts. Yep. Yay, no sparks. So it does have a pot. You got to go through the grill. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a pot in there. But we got what we want, so we're good. I can live with 24.2 volts. Like that. Good. So set the meter to voltage. AC is not DC. Yes. And the stream goes blank. Dang. You guys have no faith in me. No faith in me. Come on. Come on. Do I always have to check the power supply? I upgraded my printer from meanwhile and I totally forgot to do that. 4.8, when it comes to the power supply voltage, there's a little potentiometer on it, and usually you're good. Like if it's a 24 volt power supply, it might come from the factory, 23.9 volts. It's a good habit to check just to make sure that it is what you want, because I think most of them have a 1 volt variance. On this power supply, it's not too big of an issue. But on the Raspberry Pi power supply, if it's like reading like 4 volts, you really want to make sure it's around 5 for a Raspberry Pi. Also, cover your ass in case they mislabeled the power supply and you got a 48 volt power supply or a 12 volt power supply. So, yeah, you kind of want to make sure it is correct, because you never know. Hopefully I'm not scuffing up the front of my, that's just dragging around. Here, let's put a little piece of foam under there. There we go, put a little piece of foam. Okay, back to wiring stuff up. So, overhead here. Frame, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this guy all hooked up, or as much hooked up as we can get in the next hour and 10 minutes. So if you haven't entered yet, you got 10 minutes till the draw for the LGX. So enter if you have not. Where did I had a whole bunch of this stuff. Where did I put it? The table saving stuff that I had. I got more, but I could have sworn I grabbed a whole bunch of them. Okay. So, AV motors. So when you're looking at a printer from the front, turn it off and check it. A motor's on the right. So A motor's on the right. This is my A motor, and this is my B motor. You will never see that, but it makes it easier in the long run. So let's have this come in nicely with a little bit of extra. Make it look pretty. There we go. that come down like there. What is it time for now? Clipper or Marlin? Clipper. Clipper gang. Pretty much nobody runs Marlin on Vorons. We're pretty heavily invested in Clipper at this point. Which, hey, if you're using Clipper and you're not subscribed to Kevin's Patreon, Kevin's the creator of Clipper, you should correct that. Because Kevin is awesome. Who started Voron? Russian cat food on the Voron Discord. Max Zolan. Okay, so I'm gonna go the somewhat lazy route and just use the existing wires for the motors and just zip tie all the extra. So I'm not going to have to crimp them. Come across here. So we have put some jumpers in. So let's see what we got here for steppers. So we got, wow, it's hard to read. X, Y, Z, E0, E1. So Z has 2, so that's X, Y. What I got over here? Oh, that's an always on fan. Okay, so X, Y, 2Z. You got a jumper 1. And then another fan. Why the heck do they got fans up here? Okay, whatever. Okay, so yeah, so how they work is if you look, you got X, Y, Z, A, Z, B. Okay, so you gotta understand on a lot of printers, your 2 Z motors like a Prusa or an Ender, they are independent or they're tied together. This one has 2 Z motors. However, we're gonna run them independent of each other. So we're actually gonna plug both of these into their own stepper driver. That way Clipper can do the fun thing where it'll tram out the bed. So they'll just move independently to tram out 0. So you actually only have to level front to back. The V2 does kind of the same thing, only with 4 corners. So it does the super funky QGL thing, which I will demonstrate in a minute. This will just do side to side. A V2 does the whole gantry at once. Wire management fail. I'll make it work. So how I'm going to do this, and this is how I do it. A lot of configs, and I'm creating this config from scratch, so I'm doing it how I want. I'm not plugging a Z motor into Z. I'm plugging them into E0 and E1. Because you can plug them in however you want, honestly. So I'm going to use, looking at it from the front, this will be E0. And this will be E1. Because they're numbered. Okay. And then my B motor will be Y. And my X or A motor will be A. There we go. Cable managed. So for example, on V226 here, on my V2 here, I'm running the Spider board. The Spider has 8 steppers on it, okay? So how they are labeled, you have X, Y, Z, and then E0 to E3, okay? Or E4, yeah. So you have X, Y, Z, E0, E1, E2, E3, E4. Okay, so your 7 steppers. How I have it set up and everything plugged up, I have XY is my AB motor, Z is my extruder, and then E0 to E3 are my 4 Z motors. Because having Z be Z0, E0 being E0, and E1 being Z2, a little funky in the brain. So this way, the numbers match up at least. So E0 is Z0, E1 is Z1, and then Z is just extruded. Because in the pinout, it's just pins, right? When you look at it, this isn't Z, you know, this isn't Y motor, this is pin PD4, UART is PD3, like they're just pin numbers. You can make them whatever, right? Pins or whatever. This is, the labeling is just a silk screen and whatever the config is. So you're making the config, make it how you want. So. What does Voron use? Voron uses an inductive probe. We don't use the BL Touch. I think there's mods for it, but it's not, yeah. It's not an official thing. Oh yeah, 10 o'clock giveaway. Let's break. So, how this is gonna work is you have 1 minute from right now. It just turned 10. 10:01, I'm closing it, okay? We are going to draw Wheel of Names for a Bondtech LGX. A lucky winner is going to get a Bondtech LGX. Okay, how it's going to work is I'm going to do a draw, and then you will get an email from me with all the information that I'm going to need, and then I'm going to send you a Bondtech LGX. I'll probably set it up tomorrow, or I'll email you tonight, hopefully after stream if I remember. And then you're going to get an LGX. I'm going to pay for shipping. I'm going to pay for the LGX. When it shows up at your door, if the whoever I ship it with decides, hey, you owe us money for customs or whatever, that's on you though. So, I'm waiting for it to be 10:01. If you have not smashed that like button, I know I said it the right way this time. That's how important it is. But also, so is our sponsor, Thangs. You should also check them out. Okay, closing it. Now, how do I close it? Close it. Accepting responses. No longer accepting responses. So yes, while I'm getting everything ready here, take your time. Go check out our sponsor, Thangs. Go print something from ChaosCoreTech in the description there, and take a picture of it and share it on the Thangs website because they allow picture uploading now. And more people need to upload the things they've printed, or the Thangs they've printed. So we have 315 entries. Oh God. 1. I'm not showing you this because I don't want to dox anyone. 2. 3. 4. of the 315 people, 4 think Tallboy is called Frank. Nobody picked the other ones. Nobody picked like Biggest Prentice or something like that. So 4 people picked Frank. Hopefully, you're not one of those 4 people, the winner. So, you know how I normally do these. I need a number between 3 and 8. A full number, David. Yeah, somebody pick one. Between 3 and 8, a full number. Come on. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. David better not be putting decimals. Okay, everyone who didn't put a number that falls between 3 and 8, you're all getting permabanned. So let's roll. 3, 2, 1, go. That kind of wrong. Zen Bender! Congratulations! Congratulations. Now, let me make sure you entered it correctly. It is Tallboy. Congratulations, man. You have won yourself a Bondtech LGX. I'm going to send you an email right now, if you're in chat, just saying congratulations, you win. So I don't lose your email address in case my computer turns off between now and then. Information for shipping after stream. Congratulations. There we go. Zen Bender, congratulations. Are you in chat right now? I don't know if you're in chat at Zen Bender. He is in chat. Congrats. So, there we go. That was fun. I will collect all your information after stream. If you are here, I need your, okay, just, if you're here, go to the Bondtech website, put something in your cart and see what they need for shipping information. And then send me that information and I will ship you the LGX. But if you want to wait till after stream, I'll send you all the info I need to ship it. So congratulations, man. You won yourself an LGX. And now everyone stop watching the stream. Okay. Awesome. That was fun. I like giving stuff out. I wish I could do it more often. So we got all that. Stuff all that down there. I'm going to cable manage all this off stream. I'm just trying to get it all kind of hooked up right now. And then I will manage it all off stream for these wires. So this will come over here. Oh, beers, yes. It is 10 o'clock. Tasty beverage break, guys. Tasty beverage break. So, I know Joel likes his milkshakes, but I don't have milkshakes here. I don't have a Sonic. So for me, we are still got the Gibson's Finest. Canadian whiskey. I don't know if I have noise canceling on, if you could hear that. There we go. Ta-da! Because honestly, if you're wiring, you kind of need a little lubrication. spin it again for the real fans. Send another extruder. Well, I was gonna, if I hit 300 likes of the smash button, I was going to, but we didn't quite make it, and I felt that advertising that would be you know, bribing. So unfortunately, them's the breaks. My extruder. There's my extruder. So how are we gonna do this? I need a heater. The heater is 0. Random floor sweepings. Who wants all the little nubbins of plastic that I've stripped off wires tonight? People pay for celebrities' hair. Spin for a ding ding, which pays shipping. I live in Canada, so shipping would probably actually suck for something like that, honestly. Why do these guys have vertical connectors? The connectors for the heaters are vertical. Like, they come in from the top. Oh, okay. Sure. Sure. Down. It's here. That's gonna go there. Trip these two for the heater. I need to get a PO box. I know I'm waiting for the lockdown to end so I can actually go into a post office to get one set up. But right now we still are in lockdown here in Ontario. I think I can go in the post office, but there's always a lineup when I drive by. And I gotta check to see, because a lot of time if I'm like buying stuff from the States, I gotta put in a phone number, and I don't want to give out my phone number. Sadness, LGX is needed here. I'm sorry, man. Everyone had an equal shot. I'm just happy somebody was actually in chat who won. I like that. I was gonna do the you have to be here for the draw, but I didn't want to do that because I know a lot of people, especially in the EU, can't watch the stream. So I made a compromise of the contest was only open during the stream. So that's kind of, I think that's a good middle ground, because, you know, it gets people, because let's be honest, most of the time when you see a giveaway, it's to get people to watch the stream. I did it because I honestly feel bad about subjecting you guys to another wiring stream. So I wanted to do something for you guys. So that's a good trade-off, I think, is you have to be here to enter, but you don't have to be here to win. And the skill testing question was honestly just for fun. So I got to put it, so that's one, heater one. And that would be the top. Yep. Not that it matters, because there is no positive or negative with a heater. Just a resistance. Honestly, in terms of performance, though, I'm like, prints are the same between the LGX and the Afterburner. I don't print a lot of flexibles, so running an LGX doesn't really, you know, I printed like 5 flexible things my entire so far. And speaking of flexibles, actually, let me find it. I printed this little guy. There it is. This is the Sealy Dan. You can find him on Thangs, and guess what? Squish. He's squishy. This is Sparta 3D TPU. This stuff. I printed him hollow, so he's got a little bit of hole in the top of his head, but it's squishy. Beds are always AC and solid state, except for the switch wire and the V0. The V0 is moving actually with the 0.1 revision. It's going to a 24 volt bed, but it's so small it doesn't matter. And the switch wire is a bed flinger. But again, it's DIY. You can build it however you like. If I would like to build a Legacy in the future with a 24 volt Prusa mini bed and make a small one, but you can build them however you want. Remember that. That is 0. So let me put the label back on. The clicky probes, I might do clicky probe in the future on one of my printers. However, I am a fan, like personally, I am a fan of solid state. I don't like moving. Like I like Hall Effect end stocks. I like solid state stuff. So, Joe, I can speak to one thing. Apparently, and this just happened to me, there is a batch of LGX motors. Now that you got to remember, they're MJF, right? They're the nylon sintered, whatever. Apparently, some of them were made out, not in-house by LGX, and the finish on them is a little rough. Functionally, they work. However, if the finish is rough, what can happen is little specks of the nylon can break off and jam your nozzle up. I had my first nozzle jam in probably about 2 years yesterday on the LGX. So it's been running fine since then. I've printed a bunch of stuff, and it's been fine since then. I swapped the nozzle, but they know about it. I think it's a known issue, so they fixed it going forward. However, that has affected a few people I know. Now it's an easy fix. You can kind of just use like a wire wheel and just clean up the feed path just to make sure there's no loose nylon. But it's basically the texture of it's a little rough, and there's a chance a little particle of nylon can break off and jam your nozzle up in the feed path. Other than the jam though, it's been flawless. So yeah, first revision stuff, guys. But functionally, other than the one jam, except for the one jam, it's been flawless. I've had 0 issues. So yeah. Does Voron have a 3Z motor leveling system on any of the versions? Well, this is a 1.8, which is 2. There is a mod, and it's the cat's out of the bag. The next version of the V1 will most likely have it. Where the heck are my thermistors? Down at the bottom. Thermistor. Oh, there we go. This is thermistor 0. One is thermistor. Yeah. Don't ask me when it's coming out, because for 2 reasons. 1, I can't say that, and 2, I'm not actually fully involved with development of it, so I don't know. The nylon is coming from the motor. It's not from the motor, it's from the actual housing. So if you look at an LGX, it's like all Bontex. It's got that MJF finish, right? It's MJF plastic, the body, which the feed path is MJF. And there is the potential of a little chunk of the nylon coming off because the texture has like a rough finish to it. So, will the next version of the I don't know when the next version of the one there's 5 Vorons in existence. They're all different printers. Like I've got 4 of them here. I got a V1, a V2, a switch wire, and down there is a V0. They're all different printers, and they all have their own version. So like the V2 has the most revision, or no, the V1 has the most revisions. It's V1 1.8. The next one will be a 1.9. V2's on V2.4. Switch wire is still switch wires, just 0. The V2 or the V0 just had its 0.1 revision, and Legacy is still the original. So a Voron V2 isn't version 2. It's the name of the printer is V2. This is a V1. The V1, once 1.9 comes out, will actually be the newest Voron printer. Because right now, the newest Voron printer is the V0. It's V0, then Legacy, then Switchwire, and then V2 and V1 are actually the oldest. Technically, the V2 is the oldest revision of Voron right now, because it was announced before the V1. Did I run the CF nylon? No, I did not. My LGX, I printed all my CF nylon stuff on V226 before converting it to the putting the LGX on it. So the LGX has only printed flexibles and ABS and some PLA so far. Crimpin. Emmanuel, $5.99 Australian. Thank you, appreciate it. Just a little thank you for all your content. Thank you. Thank you for enjoying the content. Okay, so this is the thermistor. With the thermistor, there is no positive or negative because it's just a thermistor. In. Once you lock in, there you go. Okay. That. Label back on. The SKR2 a good board? I don't know. I haven't used it yet. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend. It's not actually a holiday for me right now. Let me put over there so it's not blocking. Yeah, it's not actually a holiday for me. I live in Canada, so we had last weekend was Victoria Day. So that was my holiday. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for the $5. Okay, so number 2 is end stops. So that would be my X end stops. Where's 2? So what I did was all my wires have numbers on them. I got one of these little handy dandy notepads that have all the stickers for numbers. So what I did was I wired up, you know, positive, negative, this is that, and put a label on it. So now I know which one's which. And of course I cut them long so I can go through and fire them up properly. Where are my end stops? They are this big black here, block here. So X stop. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, on the end stops, it is those two. Okay. Because you don't connect the 5-volt, I don't believe. The Sansa, yes, he's going to be building his Voron. I'm going to try and watch as much of as I can, but he's European, so I got a feeling his stream will be, I'll be at work for most of it. So unless it's on a weekend, I will be missing most of it. I am going to try. I know a lot of the Voron team guys are going to be watching it. He has, he's got a set of printed forward parts. And he's got a the same type of build plate I have. I'm pretty sure he's got the Fermio Labs build plate. However, he's using a FormBot kit, which I've done a video on it. Looking back, I might have been a little too harsh on it, but I still stand by the fact that unless you really need to buy the kit because you live in a country where sourcing it components individually would just be too expensive, or you really know what you're doing, I really don't recommend a newbie jump into the kit, because you have to be able to know what's good and what's bad in the kit when you get it, because there's no guarantee of what parts come in the kit still. But he's going to be using the Form Labs kit. So I need to use the far ones, right? Yeah, they're on PC. That is my X and stop. Oh wait, no, I'm reading it backwards. Yeah, no, that's backwards. I'm looking at the pinout, and my pinout's upside down. Yeah, because 5-volt will be closest to the motor, and I don't want that. Let's see, X end stop, so let's do the Y end stop while we're at it. X end stop is 2. Okay, so this is the Y end stop. Sensorless homing poses some firmware issues. Sensorless kind of works with Clipper on Core XY. Not a lot of people like it, simply for the fact it's honestly not that accurate. It's only accurate to within a full step, which for most people that's fine. But with Core XY and 2 motors, it does play a little funky with false positives and whatnot. Personally, I'd rather rely on a 10-cent micro switch. So, hello Juan, how are you doing? How did I cut that wrong? And even if for some reason I don't finish wiring tonight, which it's 10:30, I probably won't. This will be the last wiring stream. I will finish what I don't finish off stream. Because I feel real sorry for you guys. I am not putting you guys through another wiring stream. Aw, I mean, if you guys want more wiring streams, the view counts don't support that. And again, I don't really care about view counts, I don't even look at them. Okay, Y and stop. Well, the reason I didn't, honestly, I was going to finish this off stream, but because I was wiring up mains and whatnot, a lot of people use these streams as guides to help them build their printers. So I try to avoid, when I'm doing a full printer build like this, I try to do as much as I can on stream so that people who use these as a guide, hot end fan. 3 is hot end fan. Those that use these as a guide can actually just follow along, or can reference it at least. So I try to avoid doing a lot of stuff off stream, specifically for that reason. So as much as I know subjecting you guys to multiple wiring streams, because hey, let's take a break from wiring up one printer and wire up another printer. It does serve a purpose. These are first and foremost educational. Well, apparently some people find them entertaining too. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, wiring, it's one of the, I always plan on, honestly, when it comes to wiring, I'm waiting on an octopus to come in for Toasty Boy, or correction, Tall Boy. When that shows up, I'll probably do that off stream, and I'll try and do some proper editing. The thing is, a lot of this stuff has been covered by other YouTubers, like soldering. People have asked me to do soldering guides. One, I have essential tremors, like shake like hell. So, doing soldering on stream would be, not the greatest. Or watching me do a soldering guide, not the greatest. Plus, other people have done it. There's plenty of videos and guides on YouTube on how to crimp and strip wires and solder and whatnot. I try to avoid doing derivative works as much as I can. Yeah. Like obviously, you know, I did a review on an Ender 3. That is, you know, totally not an original thing, but that was because I'd never done a review on a off-the-shelf printer and I wanted to get some practice. Okay, so fan voltage is towards the outside, right? Oh, I did it backwards. Shoot. Shoot. Now, when it comes to wiring up fans, usually I go by priority. So fan 0 is usually my hot end fan. Fan 2 is usually my part cooling fan. And then fan 3 is my electronics fan. We just hang out here. It's all good. Pretty much. A lot of people tell me they use this stream as like a podcast. Which is pretty cool. I would like to do, like I did the one stream where I had Russian cat food on here. I did the interview. And I'm thinking of maybe getting some more people and try doing like talks more often. Because a lot of people like that. And it did pretty well. So I might try. I know Doc wants to come on, or I said he's okay with coming on a stream at some point, so I might bring Doc on a stream at one point, get him talking about it. We'll see. But usually I try to save those for when I'm not doing a build. I don't like interrupting a build. Because I started this build at the beginning of in March or May. Yeah, beginning of March or something. What's the version of the Vorons? It depends on which model, Bassam. This is a V1.8 build. My V2s are V2.4s. My V0 is a V0.0. But the current revision of V0 is 0.1. I haven't upgraded yet. And then the Voron Switchwire and the Voron Legacy are still on their initial release. Oh yeah, I know he made the post that everyone, that he ping-socked everyone. Dustin, I spoke about it right at the beginning of the stream. Along with my, some of my concerns with his build. So. TLDR, don't put a Magnum in your Voron. Or a Magnum Plus in your Voron. What does it mean, the version? That's a revision. So if you go on like the Voron GitHub, you can look up previous revisions. So pull up like the V2.0, the V2.1, the 2.2, and the 2.3. Because the printer has been updated. So the V2.4 is the current revision of the V2. It's the 4th revision. There never actually was a V2.3 though. So it's kind of like, you know how Prusa has the Mark III, it's the 3rd revision of the i3. Or the Mark III is the 3rd revision of the i3, and then they have the S and whatever. With Voron, it's just a number. So V2 is the name of the printer, 0.4 is its revision. So it's the 0.4 revision of the V2. Yes, so the V2 does not mean version 2. It is a Voron V2. V2 is the name of the printer. Technically, the V stands for Voron. So it's kind of like an ATM machine, because it's an automated teller machine. It's a Voron 2. Yes, I know that makes perfect sense, but that's how it is. Because originally it was just the Voron, and then there was the Voron 2. And then the 0 came out because it's small, let's call it the 0. And then after that, it went, wait, this naming convention scheme we're using is an absolute pain in the butt. Let's just start calling it Thangs. So now we have Switchwire and Legacy. Thoughts on Rat Rig? I don't have one. I don't know anyone who has one, so I can't make any comments on it. It's like, it's a Core XY. It's a moving bed Core XY printer. So, is it better than a V1? I don't know, but it's the same type of printer. Moving bed Core XY. Probe. Pull up the manual. I'm gonna have to solder in a BAT85 diode here. Oh, there's no electronic stuff in the V1 manual. That's right. V2. Where's the bed probe stuff? There we go. Bed probe. Well, we're not going to go through and like we've talked about it, but we're not going to rename the V0, V1, and V2. That's the names are too kind of ingrained, so they will continue to be the V0, V1, V2. Like that's kind of, they've been that way for that long. Going forward, they're going to have proper names though. That's why it's now Switchwire and Legacy. So we got to plug in the bed probes. So which one is ground? Just when I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So I've got 3 wires here. I've got black, red, and shoot. Red, black, bear. Is that right? Did I write it down? I forget to write it down. Poop. Red is brown. Red is the voltage, so that I will just know for sure. So red is voltage, and we're going to get the voltage from right here, where we have a always on fan. Pull it up here. So on here we have 24 volt. We're going to pull 24 volt from here for the probe. If you're looking for colored extrusion, Masumi comes in silver, black, and yellow. Nobody ever gets the yellow though. And then if you want fancy ones, LDO makes colored extrusion. So if you want like a red one like this, printed solid in the US, Sparta 3D in Canada. If you go on their section in the Voron Discord, they have links to regional vendors. Which, if you're looking to buy a Galileo kit from Printed Solid, by the way, use code NEROGALBIS, so NEROGALBIS, for $5 off. Valid until June 5th, I believe? I know, it's in the Galileo video. Okay, so shoot. I have a feeling I'm going to have to flip this up to take a look. I got two wires here. A red one. Yeah, so I'm assuming black is that. So blue is the bare one. So blue goes to ground. What time is it? 10:45. Yeah, we'll get the SKR fully wired up, it looks like. Gotta do some soldering in a minute here. So, here's the fun thing with these bed probes. I really like inductive bed probes. Why? Because they cheap and they work. So, when you look at wiring them up here, you don't need to go drop $70 on the Easy ABL or $50 on a BL Touch if you're running a bed that's magnetic. So what does that mean? It's a thicker aluminum bed, like a 4 or 5 or 6 millimeter thick aluminum bed, or you're running a spring steel flex sheet. So right now, my Ender 3, for example, has a glass bed. However, during the Pimp My Ender video, I'm going to be putting a spring steel flex plate on it. That is steel, spring steel, PI coated. Once it has that spring steel flex plate on it, I can slap this guy on. This is a PL08 probe, or PL05, I can't remember. But either way, this is an inductive probe. It works off of metal, really good. So once I have that on there, I will be able, trying to find my BAT85 diodes right now. I will be able to use that as a bed probe. Why is that awesome? Because a PL08 or 05 is $3. So for $3, you can have a inductive probe, and then you need to spend 5 cents on a BAT85 diode. I'm trying to find right now. And you have a bed probe system, and it plugs right into any existing board. You just need to have an end stop, a regular end stop. So on an Ender 3, you could drop this right into an Ender 3 using the existing Ender 3 board. Because all it does is it just plugs into your existing end stop, and then you just tell your firmware, hey, this pin is now a probe, and you're done. BAT85 diode. Now, when you look at something like the Easy ABL, he sells it with some fancy add-on board. You don't need that. All you need for an inductive probe like this is, because the inductive probe, the higher the voltage, the better it runs. So we're going to feed this guy 24 volts. The problem is, when you feed this guy 24 volts in, 24 volts are going to come out, and it's going to go to the sense pin here. The problem is, if you feed this guy 24 volts, you're going to fry your board. So you put a BAT85 diode in between, and that bleeds off the excess, and you're good. Simple as that. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. So we have our ground here. We're going to take our wire here that we're going to put the BAT85 diode on. I'm going to strip it, crimp it, plug it in, and then I'm going to cut it and solder in a BAT85 diode. Amazing how cheap those probes are. It took me 3 to get it right. Here's the thing, we've noticed that the cheap probes aren't as good as they used to be. They used to be. I ran a $3 Zong or whatever the heck it's called, PL08 in V2 26 from the day I built it up until I rebuilt the tool head like 2 weeks ago. Okay, and that probe worked beautifully. I had 0 issues. Okay, it just worked. It just worked. I had 0 issues with it. On the rebuild, I put a Photech one in. Good thing that one was covered. I put a Photech one in because why did I do that? I put a Photech one in. It died in 8 days. It just died. It died on me. So I was actually down here Saturday night after work replacing it. There we go. So unfortunately, they're not as good. Now, what I recommend is, I believe they're still linked in the sourcing guide. People are calling them B-stock Omrons. They're really knockoff Omrons, or alternatively manufactured Omrons. They're just probes that are in an Omron shell. I don't know all the deets, but they work really good for their price. They're like $10 or $15 each. That's what a lot of us are running now, and going forward, that's what I'm going to use on most of my printers going forward. I need to get some real magic hands at some point. I know I was going to, and then I forgot. So, get the soldering stuff out. I heard the jingle. Give me a second. 1 second. 1 second. Bernard, $20. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just finished my second Voron 2.4 and 0.1. Nice. Love all your work in the community. 3rd printer incoming. Awesome. That's great to hear, man. Hope the builds went well. More Vorons. It's always good to see. .003 millimeters. Honestly, if your first layer height's like 0.24 millimeters, and within like 0.01 millimeters, you're fine. And I've seen people complain about 0.005, and I'm like, can you print everything just fine? Well, yeah. Well, then what's the issue? Okay. So when you solder this guy in, there's a little black stripe on the BAT 85. Make sure that is going in the right direction. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. So you want to solder it in with the black wire going towards the probe and the bare side going towards the bed. So, turn that up. Greg, yes, the LGX giveaway was at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. EST. If you entered before that, I like you were able to enter before, obviously, but oh, shoot. There we go. Okay. I don't know if clicky probes will ever become spec, but they may become a valid alternative. Some people do like them, and there is merits to them, especially if you're not running a, if you want to run something other than a glass or a. Heat shrink. I remember this time. Yep. Woo! There we go. Should I install my cable chains before wiring? What I do is I wire up my tool head and then run all the wires through the chains to the back and then wire up the back. Okay. So if you go back to the last stream, I ran I built the cable chain for this, the wire loom, and I ran it through the drag chain. So if you want to watch last week's stream and just do what I did, that works really good. How many times have I forgotten heat shrink? Yes. Heat gun. Yep. Okay, so that is Z and stop, which is probe is 5. Difference between an 8-bit and a 32-bit is with Clipper not as much as it used to be, but it's still better to run an 8-bit board. All modern boards are 8-bit. Nobody really makes, run a 32-bit board. There's really no modern 8-bit boards. They're all like legacy boards that aren't really made anymore or just out of date. So if you're going to build a printer right now, get a 32-bit board. There's really no reason to go with an 8-bit board nowadays. The INZ Rambo is a modern. I wouldn't call it modern. The INZ Rambo is like 3 years old now, 4 years old now. Like it's not really a modern board. Like the Buddy board, the Prusa Buddy board's a 32-bit board, but that thing is so bare bones that there's no point in buying it unless you have a Prusa Mini. MCU, yes, MCU is the controller on the board, okay? So right now this is the MCU, and this is your Raspberry Pi, okay? So with Clipper, how it works is all the actual processing for the movements and everything is done on the Raspberry Pi, okay? So the Raspberry Pi does all the thinking, and then all it does is tell this what to tell the stepper drivers to do. So, let me think of a good analogy. Okay, so, because they don't read straight G code. Something needs to interpret the G code. So, hey, I live in Canada, okay? In Canada, we have a whole province of French people, okay? Quebec. So say you just landed in Quebec, okay? You don't speak French, right? You're a normal person, you speak English. So, you land in Quebec, and you need to drive a car to your friend's house, to where you're meeting your friend, a diner, right? You're going to get some poutine and a baguette, okay? Now, you don't speak French, okay? So an 8-bit board is like taking the instructions, all right? When you landed, your friend gave you instructions, but they're in French on directions on how to get to this diner, okay? For your poutine and baguette. So, you don't speak French. So, to figure out these instructions, you're driving the car. So while you're driving the car, you have to sit there with a translation book, right? And you have to translate the instructions and then drive the route, okay? So you have to read the instructions, you have to translate the instructions, and you have to drive the route. That's an 8-bit board running a printer, okay? And you also have to deal with traffic and everything, right? Now, a 32-bit board is the same thing, but you already speak French. So you still need to read the directions. So you're still constantly looking at the map and driving and dealing with everything else, but at least you already know the language because it's 32-bit, it's more powerful. Clipper is like a rally car where you have a guy who knows where he's going. He's telling you everything to do, and you just need to sit in the driver's seat and just turn when he tells you to turn and hit the gas when he needs to hit the gas, okay? So Clipper is doing all the thinking. Clipper is the guy in the passenger seat taking care of everything. And your controller board now just needs to do what it's told, okay? So that's why we like Clipper. Now with Clipper, it's a really good rally driver. So the driver of the car doesn't really need to be that good, right? It could be an 8-bit board, it could be a 32-bit board. The 32-bit board will have more overhead, more capabilities, but a at the end of the day, the guy sitting in the passenger seat is really good at reading and interpreting the directions. He knows all the shortcuts. That's Clipper. So I don't know if that analogy worked. What were we doing? Oh yeah, fluid bore wiring. Hey, extruder motor. Yeah, me at poutine. Hey man, I love me some good poutine. Here, poutine. Oh. Yeah, we'll go with Trooper Cam. Make sure, yeah, you guys can't see anything NDA'd in the background. You guys never know what I'm working on. All the secret Voron stuff. Okay, there is nothing in the background. Uh-oh. No, there's nothing. Need a better analogy after a couple more classes. Good point. Drink, everyone, drink. It's 11 o'clock. Secret Voron filament. That's what's loaded in the Sparta Red Sparkle. Samir, you're breaking the car, Samir. Not a perfect analogy. We're on the fly. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, basically, at the end of the day, with Clipper, you're offloading all the processing to the Raspberry Pi, which is able to do things much quicker. And then all it's doing is simply sending direct commands to the MCU to turn on heater at this time, turn on this at this time, turn off this at this time, rotate motor this, blah, 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 blah. So. The Sparta 3D Sparkle is pretty good. Like, I did the Elon Musk in it. Second here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this was the blue. So that's Sparkle 3D blue, which is, it's a nice blue and it sparkles. And then the black isn't really black. It's like a really dark charcoal gray, and it's got the sparkle. That's the good old internet meme, man. What else have I printed? I did this hot end mount here, red. Thanos, purple. I know the lighting's horrible here because the light for here is actually up there because it's at light. For my place of work, I cannot stream from work. One, it's not my company. I work for a company. It'd be like asking somebody to just start streaming from where they work, so I can't do that. And two, we build injection molds for automotive companies, and there is stuff that is not public. So I don't feel like getting fired. So every now and then I record a little video of working on a machine, but that's about it. Yeah, that, like, I started printing hot end mounts in red because it stands out so much. I like it. Okay, I need a 4-pin because we're gonna plug a motor in. I think it's just black, red, black, red. Red, black. Red, black. I haven't done a QA. It's not 5 a.m. It's only 11:09 at night. And I'm plugging the last thing from the floorboard in. Can bend this enough. Yep, extruder's plugged in. Yep. So extruder's plugged in. So let me... Oh, I need to run power for the Raspberry Pi. That's right, Pi needs power. So it's 5 volt, 3 amp. So we're gonna go with yeah, 22 gauge will be fine. How many amps is 22 gauge good for? Pretty sure it's good. Okay. 1.5. Yeah, we'll go with 20 gauge. I think I still got some 20 gauge. Let me go with 20 gauge. Just play it safe. It's a Raspberry Pi. It ain't much, but still. Actually, it's a Pi 4. Sometimes it be like this, but it do. It do. It do. Do I use Drader? No, I do not. I work in a tool shop that builds and manufactures and maintains plastic injection molds. So we actually build the tools. We don't really do production or anything. And we don't really make the parts. Like, we'll do tryouts in-house, but that's about it. But we build the injection molds. So I have a bit of hands-on experience with like plastics and manufacturing and whatnot. But for the most part, I'm a wrench monkey. I don't run a CNC machine. I run the manual machines occasionally, and I do stuff like spotting, timing lifters, and other assembly and maintenance tasks. Can't really go into all the details, but it's on the manufacturing side. So right now I'm just plugging the power for the Raspberry Pi off the power supply. Then it's the Pi 4, and we're going to put the power in through the pins. If I'm not mistaken, let me pull it up here just to make sure. RPI in out. Images. Yeah, so when it comes to powering a Raspberry Pi, if you want to power it, you can plug it in USB, but we're just going to plug in the 5 volt and the ground right here. So it's the outer row of pins, and it's the second and third from the side of the board where the display is. Would it be straightforward to revert from Clipper to Marlin using Cure? Well, Cure is a slicer, not firmware. But if you install Clipper on a machine and you want to revert back to Marlin, you have to re-flash the board. Because when you install Clipper, you have to flash it. And splurge on a heatsink for the Raspberry Pi. There you go. Some random one that I had sitting on top of a shelf. I need pins. Oh, sure, these work. There's going to be a fan literally right above it. Basam, I do have some videos on my channel for like setting up and installing Clipper. I recommend using something like Mainsail or one of the other Fluid or some of the Clipper specific interfaces. They make it a little bit simpler because they're designed specifically for Clipper versus running Clipper on top of Octoprint. Personally, that's what I like. But I swear, I hate DuPont connectors. I can never get them to crimp correctly. They're cursed. Okay, so how I do it is just straight up DuPont connectors, nothing fancy. But what I do is, since you need to plug in the second and third, not the first two, you don't want to send, you know, 5 volt and 5 volt. What I do is I use a 3-pin connector, and I leave the first one empty. So empty, 5 volt. And ground. Find my dang pliers. These are super annoying. There we go. Okay. Now that way, when I plug it in, it's good. So that way I don't accidentally shift it up on accident. I'm not camera. Oh wait, I got a mobile camera. Hi. Strip cam. So this way I don't accidentally, because if you only have 2 pins, you can accidentally, you know, just plug in the first 2, and then you have 5 volt and 5 volt, right? You need 5 volt ground. So by leaving the first one blank, you got 5 volt where there's nothing hooked up to it, and then 5 volt and then ground. That's that. So, at this point, I should be able to power it on and at least make sure we got no sparks. So everyone, overhead cam, grab a drink. Grab another drink. Here we go. Raspberry Pi's on. Got no sparks. Can't see if the probe is working. So let me, that is live. So let me turn it off. Okay, that's off. Unplug it. Flip it up. See what I'm gonna do here in a second. Side, power up again. Now, obviously, we're not going to get fan spin or anything because freaking nothing's working. But I don't know if there's an LED in there. I don't know, but it's on. I don't know, it might be blocked. Actually, I think it's blocked. But yeah, so it's on. There we go. Hey, power. Ta-da! No drinking during wiring. That was the old days. So we still got to wire the bed up, but it's like 11:30, and I'll do that off stream. It's literally just plugging it in. It's nothing fancy. So what I am going to do though is do a bit of cable management back here, and then we shall call it there. So over here. Let's do some cable management. So this will probably be easier to do. But no, I gotta finish. So let's see, zip ties. I need all the zip ties. I'm gonna need to acquire more zip ties. You're gonna come across here. I need, dang it. I don't have any of those sticky things. That's, oh, wait, no, I don't. Shoot. That's what I thought I needed. That's what I need more of. Yeah, I don't think I have any. Dang it. Yeah, I don't. I used to have these little stick-on, sticky pads. I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any. Oh well. No biggie. No biggie. No biggie. So let's see, how much of this wire do I need to hide? So zip tie that. Full mains power. I know I shouldn't, but I was holding by the plastic pits and I wasn't moving it or anything, so I've done electrician courses and whatnot and skill trades, so you're not supposed to, but I'm aware of the implications. Extra, so that's there. And what I'm going to do is just wrap that up to hide it. Yep. Would you ever consider leaving Windows for Linux? No. And anyone who calls it Win blows automatically loses any interest in me considering Linux. Like, at least have a proper argument instead of Win blows. Like grade school stuff. Why would I leave Windows? It's a operating system that's used by pretty much universally worked on by around the world, and all my software works with it. So. No, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Trying to hide some wire here. More zip ties. Well, I know the Raspberry Pi is Linux, but I'm not gonna like run a Raspberry Pi running whatever variant of Linux with Clipper on top as my main computer. Okay, we'll leave that there for now. I'm actually really happy how this wiring turned out. I'll once I get those little zip or stick-on zip tie holders, I'll go through and redo some of this. At the moment, there we go. I'll use the Raspberry Pi to hide it. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. But yeah, so I think we're going to call it there, guys. We've got the back compartment all wired up. A little bit people harp on this like cable wrap stuff, but it is great for just quickly managing wires after everything's been put together. So just like, you know, take it, put a few wraps around some wires just to bundle them up quickly. Great for cable management. It's cheap. And you can do it after everything's kind of together, so you don't have to worry about having to undo stuff to wire it up. There we go. I will actually do is put a zip tie through there. Clever. Clever, clever. There we go. I can live with that. There we go. It's wired up. Well, mostly. So I still got to do the bottom compartment stuff. I still got to cable manage a bit more once I get the proper ties in. I just need to borrow some more from work. And yeah, there we go. So that is the last wiring stream. I'm going to finish wiring up the bed. The bed's easy to wire up. You just basically hook up to the SSR and the power supply. So we are good there. It's all wired up. Next week, we will be doing a Clipper stream. So I'll get a Clipper installed on the Raspberry Pi. I'll do the installation before stream. Do you guys want me to do the installing fluid during a stream? Like, do you guys need me to do that on stream, or can I just go right to the config stuff? The bottom? The bottom's not managed. I still need to do the managing. I'll show off the final wiring at the start of the stream next week. Yes, do it. Yes. Install on stream. Okay, I'll install on stream. I'll get it installed on the SD card first, obviously. Get it all set up. Just like the BL Touch. They're just not reliable. I have a legit one. I had reliability issues with it and I ditched it. So yeah, so we'll install Clipper next stream. we'll go through, we'll get the config going, and hopefully get some movement out of this guy. So everyone who enjoyed the stream tonight, who watched the stream, you guys are awesome. If you have not yet, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Ring the bell. Like the smash button. Other YouTuber stuff. Just watch any other, watch a PewDiePie outro and just whatever he says, do. Yeah. Anyone who donated, you guys are all awesome. Anyone who just watched the stream, you're awesome as well. Thank you for supporting the content I create, the things I do. If you want to help support those things, I have a Patreon. Consider becoming a YouTube member. I think you buy me coffee. I don't know, just be here. It's awesome. Have a good time. To Zenbender, congratulations on winning that LGX. I hope to do more giveaways in the future. Those are always fun. And I do want to give a big shout out to Thangs, our sponsor for the stream, for the show tonight. They are always awesome. Take the time, create an account on Thangs, upload some things, download some things, share some things, all on Thangs. They are awesome. Check out ChaosCoreTech, awesome models, print them, share them, post some pictures of some you've printed on Thangs. And yeah, so catch up. Don't forget, I'm not making French toast tomorrow. Tomorrow is pancakes. I'm doing pancakes tomorrow, so I don't need to take bread out of the freezer. I am doing chocolate chip pancakes and bacon. So, yeah, and hash browns. So it's Saturday night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Have a nice day. Peace. I did the wrong one first.
And by contributions from viewers like you. Thank